Hola, soy Dora. Psych, you thought I could speak Spanish. Hey mama, ¿qué pasó? Hey mama, ¿qué pasó? One day Buena Vista Club, social club is gonna copyright me. Wait, do I have any copyright claims on my new video? Because, okay guys, I came here for one specific reason and I'm literally doing the opposite. Because low-key, I put the song on my video. And after that, I didn't get any copyright claims. There's no restrictions. Buena Vista Social Club, I'm actually going to be such a rude person that I'm going to use your songs for my intro. But I'm not earning anything from these videos, just to clear up. I don't like the copyright claims because it restricts how many people can see it. And hey, I'm doing an act of philanthropy, so I don't want people to be neglected from this beautiful piece of media, which today we're going to be discussing how and why capitalism is not inherent to humans and humanity. We are going to clean my room. You can't see much, but it's a mess. And we're gonna clean it. Let's go back to our 2-in-1 lamp and ring light. What got me thinking about this, what triggered me this thought, was pretty funny. I was in Dubai and I just saw such a stark difference in social classes. Because obviously you think Dubai, you think luxury, wealth, sovereign wealth fund even. But actually, there was a really insane wealth gap. People are doing crazy manual labor for crazy hours. I see them, especially where our accommodation was, I literally saw the same people there after leaving the house and coming back. Or not house, but you know what I mean. And the way also that even on breaks, their break is being on Instagram Reels. It's insane. And nothing wrong with them, just the fact that that is the reality, that is a trend. Whilst on the other hand, the wealth there is insane. Especially when they describe how quickly Dubai became Dubai is really crazy, because that type of development does not happen ethically in that rate. And I'm not trying to attack Arab development, Arab success, because hey, they're not Arabs, they're my brothers and sisters. I might not be ethnically Arab, but we're like this. We are like this. We share a lot, and I love. And when I see an Arab, I'm like, hey, my people, because I've been so deprived of Arabs living in London, which is crazy because there's quite a lot of there is a big Arab diaspora in London. But yeah. Anyways, point is, that type of development at that rate cannot happen ethically. Sustainable in a sustainable way. And honestly, it can be argued. What am I arguing? You're never gonna know. But one can argue that any type of development is unethical to an extent. We look at the UK and the British industrial era. That was hella unethical. People working for insane wages in factories, in insane conditions. We all heard about the different children, chimney sweepers dying of flipping cancer. And also, we can say the same about the States. That development didn't come from anywhere. It came from the S word. Do you want to guess? Yes, slavery. That's what caused the development in America. A large proportion of it, at least. Because agricultural industries, which, keep in mind, is the foundation of American development. Agricultural industries did not thrive out of nowhere. They did not thrive because of the white man's labour. Let's just say that. Point is, a lot of the development in history is just exploitative. A lot of the development now is exploitative. We look at some nations in Africa, same thing. So I'm saying that Dubai is no different. Now, what does this have to do with capitalism being unnatural? I was actually in the Dubai mall, and we were just talking about how insane the mall is, because the mall is insane. I think that's from the adjective that I use. It's insane. It has an infinite amount of floors, a whole goddamn aquarium, which, mind you, Mall of Morocco in Casablanca does have an aquarium, but it's not the same. It outmugged Mall of Morocco. Oh shade. They're building another mall in Morocco. They're building an even bigger mall in Morocco, because the Casablanca one used to be the biggest. Can you tell that I live in Casablanca? I'm not from Casablanca. Apparently that's bad. Apparently Casablanca Moroccans don't have the best rep. Next one, let me know. But Rabat is building another mall bigger than the one in Casablanca, which I think is pretty greedy. You guys already have diplomacy, clean street, no homelessness. Can we have something at the biggest mall in Morocco? And you guys have the best stadium. Bro, leave us something. But we're the financial city. How did this segue into Casablanca cities having brotherly competition? Anyways, so I was looking, me and my brother were talking about how insane this mall is. And I'm like, do you think, I turned to him and I'm like, keep in mind, my brother's, he's not skeptical of capitalism the way I'm skeptical of capitalism. And don't get me wrong, I literally contribute, I am literally a product of the capitalist system. I get that, but that doesn't change how I can be skeptical about it. He's not, or not as much, or doesn't communicate as much, or doesn't give it much thought. Because he does do it for, he doesn't see how it's exploitative a lot of the time. And he's like, hey. Now, anyway, so I was saying, do you think capitalism is just inherent, it's unnatural to humans? He's like, huh? Because I do not understand, and my initial argument was I do not understand how such a system functions with the benefit of the minority and the exploitation of the majority. And it's not just exploitation. At the time, it's torture. It's just torture. We look at literally modern day Congo. We look at literally neo-colonialism everywhere. We look at the famine in Ireland, literally Irish farmers making crops so the English can import the detriment of the literal Irish people not having any food. English people are literally taking food, and Irish people can't afford it. Hence Irish famine. And no, it's not because, some crop disease with potatoes, and potatoes were the whole of Irish people's diets. Okay, first of all, let's take the 2 sets. Irish people did not eat potatoes, boiled potatoes, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and tea time. If you want to get into the intricacies. Got there? So, the same premises is happening in Morocco, which my grandma was explaining to me, that groceries in Morocco is insanely, it's like global gentrification happening in Morocco. Groceries are insanely expensive. It's because the supply of groceries are low, but the demand is high. But here's the thing, not the domestic demand, domestic and international demand, but who gets prioritized? Western imports. Yeah, so those tomatoes you're buying from Lidl right now at a discounted rate, that's in the detriment of normal working class people in Morocco. It's not even an increase in inflation. Obviously, it's because inflation, as we see most of the time, wages increasing in line with inflation, at least for the UK, wages increasing in line with inflation, so that affordability somewhat stays stable. However, in Morocco, affordability is not there because these people are not getting any wage rises. It's just simply increase in prices of necessities because of how much of it gets imported. And the people are not prioritized at all. They're quite literally being seen as second-hand citizens in their own country, which is insane. A lot of the exporting firms are highly invested or in partnership with French companies, i.e., we are still colonized. Don't get me started on the fact that we will always be colonized as long as there is that power that comes with learning the French language as a Moroccan, which I'm victim of because I don't speak Darija in my household. I don't even speak Tamazight in my household. I speak French. And the worst thing is that gives me oral points. I mean, God damn it, seriously, give me oral points. And I'm not saying I deserve those oral points because hell no, bro. You know who deserves oral points? People who talk in Tamazight, because the fact that you guys are still allowing this ancient language to survive is so impressive. Like, a language that was literally spoken pre-7th century, one of the oldest language in the world, and we still speak it today. That's so impressive, and I'm envious, and I'm trying to learn it. I'm trying my grandma only speaks to me in Tamazight. But I digress. The point is, there is this trend of the masses, the populace, being suffering for the benefit of this minority, of the bourgeoisie. Wait. Sing the song of angry men. I'm trying to sing flipping I was going to say Les Mis. Les Miserables. You see? That's a flipping French colonialism speaking. Of Les Miserables, that song. Sing the song of angry men. Yeah. Guys, I was supposed to be in play. It's so bad, Samira. Whichever of these, sorry. I'm still doing clothes. I feel like the fact that I decided I'm going to record while cleaning my room was a bad idea because it's a bad idea, right? Because I'm really working slower, I think. I'm cleaning slower. So, as I was saying, we are allowing the exploitation of the majority. But why is that? Why is that not natural to us? Many people argue humans are greedy. Humans are greedy and they want power and they will do anything to get that power. I dispute that. Call me an optimist. But I do generally dispute that because as much as we yearn for this power, as much as people say human nature is wanting power. Now look at people who do have that power. Or the ways the journey to get that power. It gives us a objective depletion of our detrimental psyche. Our psyche is actually, we're pursuing a worse life. We're not happy. And not to get philosophical and stuff, but what's the purpose of life? I'm going to leave that question for a second. Let's get my shirt. No, yeah. Do you think about that? What's the purpose of life? Well, I would argue that the majority might agree with this. The purpose of life is to be happy. And to those that are saying, oh yeah, it's to get rich and live a great life. Correct. But the reason you're doing that is to be happy. Because those in poverty have lower rates of happiness, correct? You want to have that money, that income, that wealth, because you believe that it will access you to more happiness. And I'm not saying it's wrong. It will. I'll be way happier if I was able to afford much every day. I'll be way happier if I was able to go to every single one of my concerts. The reason for the pursuit of wealth is so you can increase your level of happiness. The reason for life, or the purpose of life, is happiness. To be happy. To live a long life, I would say so. A lot of people fear death, or to avoid pain, suffering, so on and so forth. For the most part, that is the purpose of life. Now, I'm watching this documentary, How to Live Long. I don't know. It's on Netflix, and it's about the blue areas, blue cities, blue zones. That's it, blue zones in the world. And there are like 5, I want to say. But the point is, it's a documentary about how to live a long, happy life. Because obviously, if you're happy, you're healthy. Like, if you have a good mindset, you have a healthy mental health. Thus, you're in the position to also acquire a healthy physical health. Not saying that you can't with a bad mental health, but how is your overall health good if you have a bad mental health? Like, well, how is your overall health good if you have a bad physical health? So that's what it talks about, how to have a good health in general. And time again, there's this thread in what the guy finds out about. He goes to each of these places and tries to research. So why are they living up to like 100? Why are they living to like 110? Time and time again, he keeps finding these people have a strong community. These people have friends. These people have a sense of belonging. Yes, which is weird because we expect him to say, do exercise, eat healthy. But that's the thing. They do both. They do exercise and they eat healthy. But that's both in exercising and eating. It is a community activity. For example, we look to, what's the country? Indonesia. I think it's Indonesia. It's Indonesia or Malaysia. I'm not too sure. They have a lot of the elderlies have these community sports club. In Loka, I don't know, in a Californian suburb, there's a blue zone. Lola Coma. I'm going to enter the name, guys. I'm so sorry. My memory is not good. They have a lot of facilities for health, like exercise and so on and so forth. And time and time again, all these people say, yes, I'm doing my exercise with my friends. Even like walking, they walk together. Like Sardinia, that was the one I didn't forget. In Sardinia, they walk to church together. And that shows like why they have such long lives, because also in Sardinia it's a very mountainous terrain, so that steepness also helps. But it also touches upon something which I find really interesting, because when I found out about care home, that was a culture shock to me as a British person, but I feel like it's my Moroccan identity that caused it to be such a culture shock. The idea of when your parents reach a certain age, they're a burden to you to throw them in an institution so they're not under your care and not your responsibility. That's how I understood it. Like, honestly, that's how I understood it. And that was insane to me. And it's not because somebody, like my mum or something, was like, that's how it is. Literally, when I went to Catholic school, during my primary school years, and sorry, I'm trying to do my thing. And there would be this care home in our school, which it was always a Catholic care home, and we would go there to help them with mass. Because again, which I want to touch upon this, a lot of the, what I said, the Catholic preaching that happened in my school. I'm not Catholic, by the way, so feel free to correct me. But a lot of the Catholic teaching in my school did emphasize the importance of helping the community. So often we went there, we helped our community. And I was just so confused about the concept of care homes. I was like, why are these poor old people? And I was like, and also it was like tea time, and I just remember it's like bourbons and custard creams at the table. And I'm like, is this what they have every single tea time? And you could see inside the rooms. And I would think, those rooms look like psychiatric rooms. They looked so, like, they looked like they're being Swedish prisons, I'm not gonna lie. They looked so dull. So the idea of care homes was always very foreign to me, very cynical. I guess that's a very cynical thing to do. Pardon me. And the guy from the documentary was explaining, when you send someone, a person to a care home, well, that literally takes 6 to 10 years out of their life, of their lifespan, which made so much sense. Because one, you're literally stripping them from their core community. Your core community, your core relationships is your family. Because that's the first thing you get introduced as a child. That's the relationship you expand the most while growing up, while your prefrontal cortex is growing. And all of a sudden, there's going to be a time where you're stripped away from them. That is insane. That is clearly going to respond in a negative way. Your health is going to respond in a negative way. Because the thing that, for the most part, brings you showing love, admiration, care, stripped from you, that's not healthy. And that's what he was describing, how care homes is what leads to a lot of their lifespan for a lot of people. So, but it's bigger than care homes. It's the fact that, one, your family. I'm trying to understand what all these pieces of paper are. Not gonna lie. One, your family is a big part of your happiness. For the most part, obviously, people have different relationships with their families. And if it's not family, it's found family. Community is so important, and in like Sardinia, in Okinawa, which is in Japan, or Japan, community is so stressed. Like, the people in your community will take care of you, will spend time with you. Your family will spend time with you. It brings so much. It's so important to leading a happy life, leading a healthy life. That just relationship we have with other humans, it's so fruitful for the growth as a species. Which is why I think, that mindset of community, that mindset of working together, there has been studies that, another thing that the documentary emphasized is civic engagement, is volunteering, engaging with community service. It fundamentally makes you healthier. It brings out some, it's gonna come to me, not dopamine, what's the other one? Serotonin. It gets some serotonin. And your human is fundamentally happier when they do community service. Which brings me to why, in a capitalist world where we are encouraged to be individual, we're encouraged to be individual, have an individualistic mindset, we're encouraged to pursue our selfish needs for our benefit, even if it means the detriment to others, is inherent to us, because as humans, literally, it's in our natural selection. We are happier from acting selflessly or in the interest of our community, for the safety of our community, for the pursuit of relationships which are not transactional. But the system is making us be individualistic, selfish. And it does lead to depletion and happiness. We look at the most happiest states rather than less happy states. The Scandinavian states are known to be the happiest places. Norway rated the happiest place. And Scandinavian states are notoriously known for their socialist system, which, when you have a socialist system, it inherently encourages a more collective idea. Also, individualism encouraged radical thought more. Oh, what caused colonialization? Individualism, because you wanted that selfish pursuit of power, that selfish pursuit of domination. That's my argument on why individualism is simply not inherent to humans. And capitalism breeds individualistic human behavior. Therefore, capitalism is just simply not inherent to human. Now, not convinced? Let's talk about psychedelics. I don't know what that was. I think I finished with clothes somewhat. I think I pretty much finished with clothes. I'm gonna do books, and they are a hot mess. Let me just say that. 1, they're illegal for the most part. 2, why do people have them? Let me sit you down. Psychedelics are a substance which is described as mind altering, but more specifically, an access into your unconscious, a pathway into your unconscious even. And why people? First of all, it's scientifically not addictive. Now there are a lot, as in it doesn't release the same addictive components you would think. Nicotine, cocaine, even the coffee would release. But that's econ. So, but also don't abuse it, because like abusing LSDs, abusing psilocybin, abusing MDMA do come with a lot of health implications, which are not all positive. Shocker. I'm just slowly getting through this. Nuts. So, why is psychedelics so impactful on the human psyche? Psychedelics is often been described as healing PTSD, healing OCD, healing anxiety, depression, making somebody just more in tune with their emotions. How? Frankly, it just says people are disconnected from their bodies. People are disconnected from their emotional state and physical state. Their conscious and unconscious is disconnected. That is why people take psychedelics to access their subconscious, because they're disconnected to it. But why are they disconnected? They're disconnected because we live in a world that does not fulfill our subconscious, it does not fulfill our needs as a human. The same way you have requirements for a relationship. You do this, that in a relationship. What's the difference between your unconscious and subconscious? They're in a relation too. But we are not communicating with it. We're not doing our requirements, our responsibilities as our conscious self in a relationship with our subconscious. So our subconscious is talking to us. And we're not adhering to it. We're being a bad partner, essentially. And then consequences occur the same way as if you're a bad partner in any other relationship. There's conflict, and this conflict with the subconscious comes with mental disorders, anxiety, depression, so on and so forth. When you have unhealed trauma, PTSD. But why is it unhealed? Because we did not communicate with our subconscious. Our conscious was affected in trauma. We push it, we neglect it, and it becomes more of a burden to your subconscious. Moreover, having this unhealed subconscious is breeding ground for capitalism to exploit, because it's literally a new market. I don't know if you've heard, but they say the best way to make a new product, to make money, whatnot. I'll have to read this. So, is creating a problem for the people around you. You're creating a problem in society so that there is consumers demand a solution. And once you create that problem, create a solution that they can demand. And that is exactly what's happening with, they put ads on YouTube. And they come with a solution. Hey, you want ads? Buy YouTube Premium. You see, they're creating their own market, which is entrepreneurially genius. Yeah, I must say, it's smart. You don't compete somewhere you won't win. You don't compete. Like, don't enter a competition you can't compete in. Make your own competition and be the best. Like,
you said that the best businesses to be in are the ones where there's zero competition. Well, besties, to get noticed, you might try these slightly unglamorous and overlooked platforms as well, because there's less competition there. NFL Draft Day just showed us a career hack. Scramble outside the pocket to find open space for your career.
I must say, there was innovation there. Now, would you want to describe that innovation? That's another complex topic. But the thing is, that's what they're doing with mental health. Social media directly does deplete mental health, simply through like algorithms. What you consume becomes more. Look at the case that happened in California. I don't know when Mark Zuckerberg. I don't know what it's called, but it was in California against Mark Zuckerberg, and it was about this woman trying to sue, and she was successful, suing Meta and saying, your social media apps cause my mental health. Yep. And she won. But that's the thing. Once you get mental health problems, especially in the American system, you express how you have mental health problems. You know what they do? Prescribe you a crap ton of white little things that you swallow. And they make new problems. And they prescribe you more stuff, and they make new problems. And you can tell the white little things are called with medication. There is this episode on the journal by the Wall Street Journal on Spotify talking about a girl who had ADHD. She had ADHD, and her doctor, severe ADHD when she was younger, and her first doctor prescribed her a few pills. And that was breeding ground for more problems, more problems, because each problem is solved with a new pill. So that new pill creates a new problem, and it's a cycle. That's the same thing. However, psychedelics, or some psychedelics at least, used appropriately, please don't take my advice, don't try this at home, they go to the root cause of the problem, your subconscious. They reenact the communication between your subconscious, and they encourage the problems to stop occurring, to stop self-producing. Therefore, no more demand for 2 times 1,100 pills. Which, do you know who would hate? The markets. Big pharma. They don't like that. They want you wanting pills because that means they have more of your money. Why are people insanely in there? Because of their medication. Yeah, but is the medication addictive? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Because if you hear, hey, this magic pill is going to help you, it's going to make you stop, or it's going to make your pain from terminal cancer stop, you're going to get it. Turns out that magic pill was an opioid. Turns out opioids are addictive. Turns out you want to get more of this opioid because you want the pain to go. Turns out the pain is from the opioid. Crazy plot twist, am I right? Now, why is this relevant to how capitalism is inherent to humans? Well, I need to explain one little detail. Psychedelics has this other effect, which reveals the love around you, or your yearn for love, or your passion to give love. And I'm not saying romantic love, any type of love. Your love, your pursuit for relationships, your pursuit any relationships, platonic, romantic, familial. It's like you see your purpose as a person, your purpose to yourself and to the people around you. So let me wrap it up because it's been like 45 minutes. Essentially, so people take psychedelics, they feel more fulfilled. But the reason they feel fulfilled is because they see the beauty in intangible connection with nature, people, humanity, in their lives. They see the beauty and satisfaction they get through these experiences. They feel happier after these experiences. Relationship introspectively and with those around you. Therefore, this fulfillment in life, this happiness in life, does not come from consumer goods. Insane, right? And a lot of these psychedelics are natural plants. Whether it's that cactus, peyote, whatever it's from peyote, whether it's from peyotes or from magic mushrooms, psilocybin, it brings you this awareness of your subconscious, not consumerist goods. Why do we consume? To have, even like economics, we get, oh yeah, and then people get more, they can afford more of their wants and then they have a high standard of living. Do you get it? We are made to think that getting more of our wants, these wants first of all, which we're manipulated to think into wanting them, will make us happy. But they don't, clearly from the outcomes of these experiments, clearly from the outcome of capitalism. People don't feel fulfilled after like having wealth. Yes, they have an increased level of happiness, but even when I buy stuff, it's inauthentic. So imagine the thought that an 8.5 billion, nearly like 9 billion population will discover that, hey, we don't need to buy stuff to be happy. We just need to be in tune with our mission. We just need to be a participant of our community. That literally breaks down the fundamental philosophy of capitalism. Adam Smith shaking in his boots. What do you mean? What do you mean? That means there can't be that excess wealth for the rich, because for the bourgeoisie, because they depend on us and our indoctrination into this capitalist system. They depend on that. But they twisted this populace depends on them. Because they have the resources for this medication, the medicine, they have the resources for. The jobs, they have the resources for. The health system, the education system, they have the resources for all of these systems. Whether it's from, they're the one investing in the big parties, as in political parties. So these things can happen. But why are we teaching? Like, why isn't the capitalism getting taught in schools? Why is economics taught in a way that comparative advantage is a good thing? Developing countries sticking to making those avocados, making those coffee beans is the best thing for them. If they don't do that, they're going to crumble. Newsflash, they're already crumbling by being comparatively advantaged. Like, literally, our systems in education is made for us to believe this capitalist system is the best outcome out there. And then they obviously put it like terms of conditions. Oh yeah, some people want to get exploited, but hey, it's not you. It's not you. It's only this minority. But we are getting exploited. And this exploitment is we're getting reimbursed for this exploitation by saying, hey, free education on us. When the product's free, it's because you're the product. The consumer is the product. And when it's not free, who are you paying it to? Anyway, and why are they always advocating? I say they. Why are the elites always advocating for growth? Because growth disproportionately advantages them. Like those who have, for example, we hear, especially the last few weeks, months, the S&P 500 has the S&P 500 has only been rising. Who is getting it? Like, who is benefiting from the rise of the S&P 500? People have stolen the S&P 500. And if you say, oh, but it's so accessible to invest in. And do you see the public education system educating on investing, how to invest? If at all, the only way you can consume this media, this information, is through higher education. And I don't even think if you even take it in the UK, if you don't take an econ degree, you ever find out about that. Yes, of course, there's the internet. But the concept already. That being said, all this information, all this educating I've been doing to realize this has been from the accessibility of the internet. I was able to read, listen, watch to understand this exploitative system. So there are resources, and obviously always educate yourself. That's why I fundamentally don't think capitalism is inherent to humans. It's natural. It's not even natural to humans. Systems are doing everything they administrate. The systems are doing everything in its power to maintain this capitalist structure. And they're successful, and they're successful in it. They're successful in it. And that's my take.